Quinn was a thinking man of small means, a traveller, hermit, nomad, or maybe pilgrim, without religion and without defined purpose. He walked in search of answers to the big questions of life. Why here? Why now? Is there any purpose at all? He walked and asked the people he met. Sometimes he would ask for directions, occasionally for the time of day, and sometimes for an answer to that which had been troubling him of late. These houses, why are the doors so very small? Because of the wind. He was smaller than the average, but well formed. His legs reliable, his hands handy and his eyes clear. He was lucky. He'd been young, after all. It was 1946 in southwestern England, that sunny, fragrant backwater where the poor were poor, and the fishermen talked about the time between the wars. Quinn was tired. Not so tired as he needed to rest, but tired in his soul, in his fingers. He sat by the quay, with a cat by his hand and a case at his feet. A gull passed by, calling loudly, and Quinn smelled the dry dust on the tarmac, mixed with fish and dry rope. His grandfather was a Scot from Orkney, that wild bear collection of spits in the North Sea, and Quinn felt most comfortable within shouting range of the ocean. Tales of Orkney in his heart, pictures of stone houses and whipped islands he had never seen. Cornwall, by contrast, was softer, warmer, and held a promise that Orkney did not. Maybe it was the lands across the ocean. Maybe it was the flowers and the hedgerows. Or maybe it was just the sun, which chose to shine and make the blue water sparkle lightly in the bay. He was hungry. He'd been hungry for some time, but was reluctant to eat the apple in his case, because then he'd have nothing left to eat thereafter. He wished he had some cheese. Quinn was very fond of cheese. It was the one food he missed most while he'd been away. After some time, he stood up. He was a little stiff. It got colder while he was sitting, and his bones had set a little. He shrugged himself, picked up his case and walked down the strand. Watching him, he would have described him as walking with purpose. But for him, it was simply the only way to walk. His stride and the rhythm of it were comforting, and the knowledge he could keep walking in one direction as far as he liked until it was time to stop. Freedom and the constant exercise of it was Quinn's only function. He had no space in his mind for anything more concrete or limited. He sometimes found himself counting his steps, go as far as 200 before he realised the numbers were running in his head. A dog barked behind the cottages to his left. Practised at controlling his reactions, Quinn didn't break his stride, but inclined his head. Surprise, shock and fear didn't register on his face anymore. A skill not so much as learned as intuited out of necessity. He was a quiet man, not inscrutable, rather a blankness in his expression that hid a confusion of noise in his mind, where observations and the questions they posed constantly ran. He considered reasons for the dog's bark: threat, hunger, excitement, pain. He followed the narrow path down to the harbour, registered the pressure of wet sand under his shoes. Damp seeped into his right sock through a crack in the sole in the upper. He was wearing the wrong shoes. Exchanged nods with a young man sweeping green paint off an ancient dinghy. And out the corner of his eye caught sight of a chicken, pecking at a patch of sandy grass by the top of the harbour slip. It scuffled by itself in the dust in that way that chickens do, feet shuffling backwards and forwards, head up and down. Small brain, thought Quinn. His mind pondered this, while the chicken, oblivious to the larger questions of life, proceeded upwards along the slip, pecking in the dust. Quinn passed an old tire and a couple of lobster pots. The chicken, by now, was moving faster along the road, and no longer pecking. Quinn moved up the slip and sat down by the top to remove his shoes. The toes of his right foot were damp. He took both shoes and socks and placed them inside his case. Standing up, he noticed himself enjoying the sensation of the loose dirt under his feet. Such observations reminded him of his old self. He found them surprising and pleasing, as if learning something he didn't know that he didn't know. Starting off again, he saw the chicken by the base of a wall, studying him one-eyed. Quinn was counting his steps. By 52, he had almost caught up with the chicken that was now moving along the pavement, as if with a seeming purpose. Quinn followed. The chicken ran past 3 cottages, and then stopped to inspect a broken teacup on the step of the 4th. Discovering nothing, it continued on, past the cottages, and turned right up a steep, narrow street. Halfway up, the chicken stopped by a small doorway. The door opened, and the chicken went in. Quinn carried on up the hill.